let's take a moment to forget about our existential dread and clear our heads with the latest installment of the low-effort, lower-budget NBP show. And as always, I'm your host, Daltmick, bringing you Week 6 action this time. Week 6 brings us back to the first week of divisional play. Rivals going head-to-head, vying for a spot in the Knuffle Challenge Series. With only 3 weeks left to go, 2 after this one's completed. Who will be our top 8? We'll start it off and continuing the media bias of the show with the Tar and Feather division. We have number 1, Coach Shushnik, taking on Knockout Joe with Night of the Living Dread in a 2-all game against Joe's Imagination. This looked like it was going to be a game for the undead from pretty much the beginning until one tricky play toward the very end, if not the very end of the game. Joe's Imaginations imagines a beautiful play to tie it up to 2-2 to grab more points in that chase for the wild card spot. Moving on down to yours truly versus Go Dog Sick'em with the Badass Women's Association taking on the Georgia Bulldogs. This would be a 2-1 battle on the Blood Bowl pitch. Bawa would take almost the whole first half to score before kicking it off in the second half to the Georgia Bulldogs, and that's when everything went downhill. Amazonians fell one after another till there was barely anyone on the pitch. But the Orcs scored too fast and gave the Amazons 2 turns, and with those 2 turns they were able to just squeak out a touchdown to make it 2-1 as Bawa barely beats the Bulldogs in a brutal Blood Bowl brawl. Now, over to Deep Dark Division, we have an amazing match that would crown our AFC Coach of the Week in Bortbot 18 versus Blue 6 Max as a sinking ship takes on the villains of DC. A sinking ship knows that their ship is sinking and they don't have much time if they plan to make it to the Knuffle Challenge Series. So they have to pull out a brutal win, and here they do with a 3-1 against the number 1 team in their division. So that slates Bortbot 18 as the AFC Coach of the Week with a 3-1 win. Now, moving up, we have Coach Demented, a 2-time champion here in MVP, taking on last week's AFC Coach of the Week. Tons of fun with the Cannibal Corps taking on the Terrible Ghouls, but the Cannibal Corps was just too much for the Terrible Ghouls as they win 2-0 in Deep Dark Division. Now on down the line in AFC action, we have Saltworks with Midway Monster and the Zorn Cool Zealots taking on Johnny Mal's Johnny Rottens. This would be a repeat of their first matchup in a 1-all draw between the two, allowing the teams under them in 3rd and 4th to gain traction possibly, and that they did as my man DK and the Kitchen Raiders take on Rorik Dark and the gorgeous ladies of Blood Bowl in a 3-2 affair that would go the way of the Kitchen Raiders. The shocking thing is the gorgeous ladies of Blood Bowl even had a wizard and somehow didn't use it. This looked to be a 2-2 draw, but another case of a team scoring too fast, and the Kitchen Raiders are able to make a 3-2. I believe there were 2 one-turn, maybe even 3 one-turn. No. The first touchdown was not a one-turn, but the following 2 for the Kitchen Raiders was a one-turn touchdown in that amazing game that slates some points here in the Saltworks division, gaining traction as DK likely takes 3rd, if not even 2nd, with that draw in Saltworks. So that does it for the AFC side of the pitch. Another Skaven team there, to both Skaven teams there scoring 3 touchdowns, and that would continue in Ancient Empires as Rocky is back and Berzo square up for first place, getting that matchup out of the way early, but Dinosaurus Rex would fall in a 2-3 loss to the Warp Firestones, last year's finalists looking to make it back to the Nuffle Challenge Series and capturing that NFC Coach of the Week title there in their 3-2 win. And that's all three Skaven teams scored 3 touchdowns. So I guess they had a meeting in the off season or in the off week or whatever last week and decided, hey, there's 3 of us, let's score 3 touchdowns. It's hard to beat 3 touchdowns, and that they did with a win there. Moving on down to Commissioner Kamikoze versus Blake Nuts 666 with the Stormstad Silverhorde taking on, the boys. It was a brutal game that could have gone any way, but the way it went was in the way of the boys in a just crossing the finish line touchdown with 1-0. That does it for Ancient Empires. Moving on to Beheaded Kings, we have Afro Chef taking on Pong, 2 former NFC Coach of the Weeks. In fact, NFC Coach of the first half, falling though in an 0-2 loss to Afro Chef. Afro Chef has now commandedly taken a lead of Beheaded Kings. It's going to be hard for Pong to even compete for a wild card spot after that, but I'm not counting him out just yet. He is a great coach. He's won many awards on the show, and we could still very well see him squeak something out. On down the line, we have Legend T versus Josiah Frost as the Scarface Scavengers rout a 2-0 victory against Game of Gnomes. Their interdivisional play seemed to have been a little bit of a fluke here in NBP as they returned back to divisional play, and the Scarface Scavengers were not happy about their loss last weekend. They just looked to crush. Okay. On to the Old World division. We have Jonah and the Rainforest Queens in a 1-2 loss to Wheelie 365 and Boom Boom Shake the Room returning to form here on the show as they just go to crunch time and squeak out a 2-1 win against their first place divisional team. So they gain more traction, preventing the slide further back there with the win. A great win, a much needed win there. And then down the line to Fantastic Dr. J versus the Prime Sinister. Grim Ripping Institute takes on the Fun Guys who were just fresh off of a 6-0 defeat. Will they continue to slide down and take another defeat? Or will they come out on top? And the answer is they come out on top just barely with a 1-0 win there. It's quite amazing to see the Prime Sinister coming back after such a big defeat and taking such a small win there, but sometimes those small wins are very monumental depending on the team and your season, and that helps out Prime a lot there. Dr. J takes the tough loss and gets hurt there a little bit, but he's not quite out of it yet. Speaking of Dr. J, now that we've approached the end of the show here, it looks like we can introduce the newest segment. The newest segment of the show is the wild card segment. With the playoffs right around the corner, the Nuffle Challenge Series needing coaches, there are 2 coveted wild card spots on AFC and NFC. That is a team's last chance at that Nuffle Challenge Series. And our first guest of the show, actually, is Fantastic Dr. J, and he's going to be giving us a rundown of the wild cards going into Week 7. So, take it away, Dr. J!
Thanks, Dominic. Great roundup, and nice shirt, by the way. I'm Coach Fantastic Dr. J, and I'm here to give you a preview of the wildcard hopefuls current points and positions are based on post week 5 matches, so straight after your intra-conference, interdivisional play. Well, there's nothing more to say about that, but move straight on to the current positions. I'm going to give a rundown for each AFC and NFC, third, second and first. Obviously at the moment all of this could change. There's still 3 more matches to play, so some of these teams might even end up winning their division, and it would be some other coaches that actually could be in the runnings for securing that wild card spot. So moving swiftly on to the rundown, we'll start with AFC because that's how I've got it listed. Currently sitting in joint third, we have Cannibal Corpse, coached by Demented, and also A Sinking Ship by Botbor 18. Second position, we have Johnny's Rottens, coached by Johnny Mao, and sitting currently in first wildcard hopeful position is Badass Women's Association, coached by Dolnick. All of this could change, but at the moment that's what it's looking like. Moving on, we have NFC, and for NFC, all 3 positions currently after week 5 matches are all joint positions. So this one definitely will change. I'm certain of it, but maybe not. But anyway, third position, joint third position, is Boom Boom Shake the Room with Wheelie 365, and then Scarface Scavengers version 2, coached by Legend T969. Joint second place, we've got Lauren Rockets, coached by Pong Hines. Sitting along with him is A Game of Gnomes, coached by Josiah Frost. Which then means that joint first position for NFC is the Warpfire Stones, Rocky is back, along with Stormstad Silver Horde, coached by Commissioner Commie Cozy. As I said before, all of these positions could change. These joint positions, for instance, could be changed by the amount of SPP that everyone gets. Keep watching to find out. I've been Coach Fantastic Dr. J. Before me was Coach Dolmick, and if you liked this week's low budget, low effort weekly roundup, then you should give us a thumbs up. Thank you.